Welcome back to educator.com. For the next lesson, we're going to go over the area of a circle. So first, to review over area, remember it's how much space it's covering up. So the area of a circle is when you have a circle and you see how much it's space it's using. Okay, so for example, let's say you have a hole in your jeans, right? And you want to cover it up. So you cut out a circle from another pair of jeans, let's say, and then you stitch it on to your jeans, your hole, to cover up your hole, right? So that, however much that circle, that patch is covering up, that is area. Okay, so it's just how much you're covering, how much space you're using. Now remember, if you're measuring the distance around the circle, that is called circumference. So we have circumference, which is the distance around the circle, and then area, which is all of this, right? How much space it's using out. Now the formula to find the area of a circle is pi times the radius again. So in other words, the area is pi r squared. R squared. Now be careful, this is not r times 2. Okay, it's an exponent, so that means it's r times itself that many times. So it's r squared. Radius times the radius. Circumference is 2 times pi times r. So in this case, remember how we multiplied the 2 and the r together first? So in this case, this is 2 times r, or r times 2. This is not r times 2, this is r times r. Okay? So remember, keep in mind the difference between the formula for the circumference and the area. So first, let's find the area of this circle. The formula, area, is pi times r squared, or pi times r. Now remember, pi is 3.14, right? So pi, I'm going to put in 3.14. The radius is 4. 4 squared. Now again, be careful, this is not 4 times 2. This is 4 times itself, so 4 times 4. Also, for order of operations, because we have two different operations, meaning we have two different things we can do. We can multiply or we can do the exponent. The order of operations, remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So it's always parentheses first, exponents next, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. See how the exponent comes before multiplying? So be careful. You do not multiply these two numbers first. You always have to take care of the exponent first, and then you can multiply. Okay? So 3.14 times 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. Again, remember, do not multiply 3.14 times 4 and then square it. Okay, if you do that, you're going to get the wrong answer. Okay, so here I want to multiply 3.14 times 16. So 4 times 6 is 24. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, I put a 0 right here. 1 times 4, 4. 1 times 1, 1. 1 times 3, 3. I'm going to add. So 4 plus 0 is 4. This is 12. 8, 9, 10. 3, 4, 5. Now I look, since I'm multiplying, I look at my problem and I see how many numbers are behind the decimal point. I only have 2 numbers behind decimal points. So in my answer, I'm going to place 2 numbers behind the decimal point, which is right there, right? So my answer becomes 50.24. Now I cannot forget my units. So here it's inches. Area is always squared, units squared, not numbers squared, units squared. So 50.24 inches squared is my answer. That's the area of this circle. Next example. Here, I'm given that the diameter, remember diameter is a segment whose endpoints are on the circle, so on the circle, and passes through the middle, the center of the circle, right? So this is a diameter. The diameter is 20 meters. Now, to find the area of a circle, area equals pi r squared, radius squared. I need to find the, I have to find the radius. I have the diameter, but I want the radius. So how do I find the radius if I'm given the diameter? The whole thing is 20. That's the diameter. I know that the radius is from the center to this point right there. So the radius is half the diameter, right? If the whole thing is 20, then the radius has to be half of that, which is 10. So now I know my radius is 10. I can go ahead and plug in my numbers and solve for my area. Pi is 3.14. The radius is 10 squared. Again, order of operations says we have to take care of the exponents before multiplying. So area equals, I am going to leave this for the next step. 10 squared is not 10 times 2, it's not 20, be careful. It's 10 times 10, which is 100. Now remember the shortcut? If we want to multiply by 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000, then you just count the number of zeros in that number. So here I have 2 zeros, right? 100 has 2 zeros. You're going to take this decimal point then. Okay, whenever you multiply a number to 100 or 10 or 1,000, count how many zeros there are. There's 2, right? I'm going to place this decimal point, I'm going to move it 2 spaces then. 2 zeros, I'm going to move it 2 spaces. Now, do I move it to the left or to the right? 2 spaces. Well, since I'm multiplying by 100, this number has to get bigger, right? And the way to make the number bigger is to move the decimal point over to the right, because you want the whole number to be a bigger whole number. So I have to move it to the right. 2 spaces, go 1, 2. So my answer then becomes, that's the new spot for my decimal point. So it's 314 is my answer. Okay, 314. Okay, if you, again, 2 zeros here, move it 2 spaces to the right. So it was here, it moved over to here at the end. Since it's at the end, I don't have to write it, right? It's just 314 point. Same thing as if not being there. So 314 is, you can leave it like that. We're done solving, but I have to add my units now. So it's meters, and area is always squared, units squared. So 314 meters squared. Okay, and my third example, we're going to find the area of the shaded region. Okay, so I have this rectangle, right? And a circle here that's cut out. So all this is missing. That's the area. If I cut it out, then don't I have to take it away? I have to subtract it, right? So it's as if I have this whole rectangle. It was whole before the circle was cut out, right? Find the area of the whole thing. Then you're going to subtract the area of the circle, and that's going to become what you have left, the area that's shaded. Okay? So like imagine if this rectangle was like a piece of paper, and you cut out a circle, right? Well, you have to figure out, well, what's that area of that circle that you cut out to see, what you're taking away. Okay, so find the area of rectangle, find the area of the circle, subtract it, and you'll get the area of the shaded region. So the area of the rectangle. It's rectangle. Area is base times height, or length times width. Length times the width. That's 8 times 7, which is 56 centimeters squared, right? Centimeters squared is the area of this rectangle. That's that. And then the area of the circle, pi r squared. Pi is 3.14. The radius is 2, right? 2 squared. Okay, I'm going to take care of this first, right? Area equals 3.14. I'm going to leave that, solve that out. That's 4. Okay, so 3.14 times the 4. Let's do that over here. 3.14 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. This is 12. I have 2 numbers behind the decimal point, 1, 2. So I need to place 2 numbers behind the decimal point in my answer. Area equals 12.56 centimeters squared. Okay, now I have the area of the whole thing and then the area of the circle. So I need to take away the circle, right, from the rectangle. So it's going to be 56 minus 12.56. So I need to do that. 56 minus, and remember when you subtract decimals, you have to line them up. Where's the decimal in this number? It's, if you don't see it, it's always at the end, right there. Minus 12 point, make sure only when you subtract, add or subtract, the decimals have to line up. 5, 6. Now, I'm missing numbers here. If I'm missing numbers here, it's at the end of a number behind the decimal point. I can add zeros like that. So, when I subtract, this is going to borrow. This becomes the 10. This becomes 9. Borrow 5. Is that big enough? Yes. Okay, so 10 minus the 6 is 4. 9 minus 5 is 4. 5 minus 2 is 3. 5 minus 1 is 4. So it's 43.44. So this is 43.44 centimeters squared is my answer. Again, just found the area of the rectangle, then found the area of the circle. I subtracted. I have to take the circle away, so I have to subtract it. Okay, and then make sure your decimals line up when you subtract, and then you get this as your answer. Okay, and that's it for this lesson. Thank you for watching Educator.com.